Okay, so here I am. I'm going to now go and do pose 2B from the Age of Darkness, which is actually the Legionary Sergeant here. So you can actually see that what you do on this one is you build the body as of 2A, and then you add all the kind of little details on. So hopefully it shouldn't take me very long to very quickly put together the initial pose, because I've done once before. But if you haven't seen the previous video, then obviously I'll show you how to do this part now. So it's simple. You need 7, 8 and 9 to build the main body. And I'll tell you from the off, this guy is going to be an Imperial Fist. Again, I'm doing all of the models that are going to become part of my Imperial Fists first off. Oh, let's just get these nice and clean. I've been thinking about my colour scheme in a bit more detail as well over the last day, and I'm definitely thinking of a colour scheme that I saw. Now I'm going to have to remember the painter's name, because I don't feel right about basically robbing their paint scheme almost without naming them. So what I'll probably do is on my next video, I'll make sure I have it to hand. But he did this very interesting Imperial Fist colour scheme for 40k using Primaris. Basically with, interestingly, an initial brown undercoat airbrushed on to the, I think, black, which I found quite interesting, and then obviously done some airbrushing downwards. So I'm going to put it really simply. I'm going to take that, but I thought, you know what, Night Lords, night time, so Imperial Fist, very, very sunny and yellow. So I'm going to actually probably do orange as my first colour, and then my second colour obviously is going to then build white downwards to create that kind of sun direction effect. But basically, so the Imperial Fists are sunrise, and that kind of plays well against the Night Lords then, that are going to have obviously a very midnight clad effect. So I think that's really going to be something that works well. Okay, so on the actual Sergeant, you've got options. So you're always going to need arm 53, but you may want arm 54 depending on which armament. So I am actually going for a Power Fist, which is going to need, from Sprue A, it's going to need 3, 4 and 5. But if you really wanted to, you could combine the number 7, the Power Sword, and arm 54. So that's just very, very simple on that one. But as I said, I plan on doing it with the Power Fist. So this is arm 53. This is going to have the plasma pistol, I think it is. Okay. Normally, I'd like to pin things like this to get the positioning perfect, but I just want to make sure that everyone can actually follow what I'm doing. So can you see I've got frame A, and this is number 2 on frame A. That's the plasma pistol, and yeah, I want to follow everyone to be able to follow what I'm doing here. And I'm not going to pin it and drive everyone crazy. Obviously that's very annoying, isn't it? It's like when someone says, oh yeah, here's a simple painting method anyone can do, and they go grab an airbrush I mean, I do use an airbrush, I can't help that, but for this one, I don't need to worry about pins, really. Again, I'd love to magnetise some of these, but unfortunately, again, because this is a demonstration of how to do them straight out of the box, if I went around and started magnetising stuff, it'll drive you all crazy as well. So let's just get this nice and glued, give it a bit of air. Make sure that it's this thing, you've got to make sure that it looks like it's firing in the right direction. And then one of the problems you can get, unfortunately, is when you actually do put it on the model, sometimes it can look like it's in the wrong place. Let's see. This feels to me so I'm looking at this right here, and I'm noticing this doesn't really have like an indent in it, you see, but the model has like a protrusion there, so looks to me like, I'm pretty certain I haven't got the wrong arm there. So what the actual problem is that I might need to just trim that off. Doesn't show that in the instructions, but I'm 100% certain that there is no indent on the arm to actually do it right. So no, it's a matter of making sure that this is where you kind of want it as well. It feels like it quite naturally goes there, but that puts the gun up too high, so I'm just gonna twist it down a bit, and there we go. He's got a kind of slight offset on his arm. Great. Okay. Now go back to frame A, and then I'm going to pop the power fist off. There we go. See, that one does have a, you see, that one does actually have a fitting in it quite happily, so it'll tell me exactly where to get it in. Right, yeah, he's starting to look good now. He's starting to get the posture together that you want to see on that. Obviously, there's two other parts to this power fist as well. So there's 4 and 5. You can see, and I'll do a separate video on that, but there's also a lightning claw, which I'm not going to do for the Imperial Fists. Particularly because, as I said, I feel like I want these to be the 401st as well, which I'm pretty certain, if my my knowledge of the books and all the fluff that comes with Warhammer 40k, I'm pretty certain that that's the Crimson Fist. I think a lot of people have always loved the Crimson Fist. They're almost iconic, really, for being classed as a second founding. Just I think everyone, or pretty much everyone, knows that beautiful kind of scene. The Crimson Fist kind of all stood in a circle, fist held high, banner waving like crazy. You know, fabulously wonderful death scene of theirs. Now, this is a bit of a pain, this, when you can tell how much of a pain this is going to be to get it in the right position. Yeah. Feels... Gosh. Oh, this thing's fiddly as hell. One sliding, you said. Yeah, it feels like it goes there, doesn't it? Yeah, so basically make sure that the thumb is pointing to your right. How bad am I at left and right? Unbelievable. Make sure that thumb is pointing to your right. Slide it on. And there we go. Nice fit there. Gonna give that a little time to dry up as well while we'll start looking at the next part. So our next little bit that we need to look at is actually getting the shoulder pads done, the actual shoulder guards. So over here we've got 32 and 33. These are replicated across the whole of them, and they're dead simple to get done. And I swear 3 times, this is the 4th one I've done, and on 2 of the occasions I've not been paying attention and I've glued the wrong side. So I'm going to get it right this time. I'm going to get it spot on. Pay attention, and I'm going to glue the correct bit, which is there. The other thing about this is, because of the way that it settles, it's very easy for it not to bond together correctly and shift slightly in a way that you don't want. Okay, but there we go, that's good. Now, I also need, for this one, on this side, number 38. Ooh, now, I'm so busy, naughty of me. See, I've not marked it in green there, which I always try and do to make it easier to see. So that shoulder pad there, number 38. Just like, I'm going to have to try and find some firstborns. I am 100% convinced that at some point I'm going to do a kit bash and make some proper Heresy style armour that looks complete mismatch of everything. I'm just really liking the idea of using some Aquila armour to get together some Heresy style armour. Just really play around with it, put the bits on. Okay, now this should slide in here. Oh, see, this one's going to be a pain because I'm going to have to hold it at a weird angle. In fact, this is why we have tweezers and things, just to help put things in. right, that pop in there. There we go. Right. Yep. Okay, other side now. Fingers are going slippy now. Oh. There we go. He's starting to look the part now, isn't he? Starting to really build up that kind of chunkiness now. Now, my next choice is going to be a choice of heads. So, I've got a couple of options here. We have head 52, which, as you can see, has got a slight change to it. It's got a spike on it. And what you can do is you can add this on the top, the plume. Yeah, I think it's just called a plume. Alternatively, and this is what I'm going to use, I think it's number 9 here on sprue A. You see, he's everything about him properly looks like an Imperial Fist, doesn't he? He's got that mustachioed look that seems to seems to imply Imperial Fists. I always find it quite interesting in a lot of ways, because I remember the first time I saw sort of facial hair in anything looked like it was deliberate rather than just messy growth, was on the front of the Soul Drinkers omnibus. And that's the first place that I actually attributed kind of neat facial hair and goatees and mustaches with the Imperial Fist. Now, obviously, spoiler alert if you've never read the Soul Drinkers omnibus before, but obviously towards the end of it, they find out that they're not actually Imperial Fist successor chapter, and it's all been some kind of elaborate lie by someone to cover up a truth that, they never actually really reveal who their chapter progenitor is. Okay, finally, backpack 47. I wasn't paying attention when I was doing these. Look, I haven't greened out 47 either, but here it is anyway. I tell my nose is a bit off today. Okay, and I just put him down. He's coming along now. We're getting down to the little fiddly bits now that you add on just to add a bit of character from frame A. So, same again. I said last time, if you put a piece of equipment on one, it's a good idea to replicate across them all. That way they kind of are harmonious. Okay, and I'm going to put on, I think just to finish up, I'm going to put on the, where are we now? This here, this little pack of grenade, a grenade and what looks like as well. I like this. There's breathing mask on that one. Right, so just got to pop him on a base now, and he is done. I'm going to have to get my tweezers here to help just slide this. Oh, it's upside down, that does not help. There we go. It's got an emergency breather on him just in case he needs to pop on a mask, in case he goes shopping anywhere. Right, okay, so there we have it. Our beautiful Legionary Sergeant, all done up, ready to be done up for the Imperial Fists.